How pleased are you with the production you got out of the tailback position on Saturday?
You know, Jesse, it was clearly better, and I think what helped was Cade being out there, and really allowing Aiden, to find some select snaps, also, and we need more, as we go forward.
Navy brought in a new offensive coordinator, Drew Cronick, and looks like they have new wrinkles that maybe we haven't seen before, wing tee, some play action pass. How different and dangerous do they look in comparison to what they've done in past years?
Yeah, they're very good. Anything you look at, they're complete as a team, and offensively, certainly that's the case too. The quarterback's played exceptional football as a ball carrier. The anticipation that he has as a passer. Nearly every throw is a first hitch right now. He's just that skilled at being able to trust a delivery and letting the ball go. It's really impressive. So you aren't holding up for a long time, and it allows linemen to truly show a run block rather than maintaining a pass pro for a long time. And, two good fullbacks, the versatility that they've had out of their slots, and the receivers made a bunch of big plays too.
How much has this Navy defense really improved from the last year to right now?
I thought they played quite well against us last year. My goodness, you look at it, we scored 10 points against their defense. Another 7 was due to an interception return, and really the only offensive touchdown was a big play where there was a little hesitation, on the back end of it. And they've played in 3 of their 4 games have been outstanding. And the other game that they played against Memphis is a really, really talented offense.
Defensively, you guys against Wyoming in the second half, what did you feel like the mistakes were?
Yeah, I tell you, there weren't a lot of mistakes. I think assignment-wise, we were pretty sound. Could we have been better? Certainly. We have to do a much better job of getting off blocks.
Looking at Navy, what's the biggest challenge that they present for you guys?
As I said a little bit earlier, they're strong in all 3 facets. Really good defensively, have played tremendously well on offense, and very sound and very solid with their special teams too.
And I know it's still pretty fresh into the season, but how are you feeling? I'm curious, just overall about the team. What are you liking?
The work ethic for sure, just the commitment, the care, the character of our guys. That's one thing we're fortunate. This is a team we're loaded with that part of it, the character aspect. We need more game situations, more game snaps. We need to play. We need more practice too. The value of today's practice is enriching, and in a way we just have to develop and grow.
What's your assessment of Blake Horvath and what he brings, his skill set?
Yeah, to add what I said earlier, an outstanding runner. The anticipation of the timing of his throws, like I said, every ball is nearly released on an instant, only one hitch, one reset, that's it. And which is really, really impressive, to be able to do that and just being able to see a route that's going to open or release a ball rather than have to know for sure the route's open and then release the ball. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 4 or 5 tenths of a second, a half second less that you have to protect. Gives him a little more space to step into a throw, and it allows those routes to go a little bit deeper because of it too.
In a year like this, when the other 2 service academies are playing well, is there a rising tide lift all boats perception for service academies because they're kind of top of mind nationwide, or because those are your recruiting rivals, does it hurt you when they're playing?
I think what you end up doing, no matter what, you're working within your own program. And that's the way we've always operated here.
on Saturday, it looked like Canby was a little bit closer to line of scrimmage on a number of places. Is he moving back into a spur? And I guess, is that a product of Kyle Chen playing really well at the safety position?
He did play more snaps closer to the line of scrimmage last Saturday. You're absolutely correct. Going forward, how will that unfold? We are going to ask him to know two different spots, a spur and a free safety in the future.
You mentioned Navy's receivers. Eli Heidenreich has 15 catches, 5 touchdowns, I believe. What is he doing that he's getting open with that sort of regularity?
You know, he's lined up in a good number of different spots, you know, formation-wise. And he's a good-sized target. He's not a small guy at all. And he has really, really good ball skills, too.
All right, I just want to give you a chance to respond to this. I talked to Brian Newberry yesterday and just asked him, you know, if he can relate as a service academy coach, what it's like to have an inexperienced roster. His response was, without getting into it too much, I think coming out of COVID, turnbacks, things like that, things we didn't do here, maybe some of the older guys in that program played a lot more snaps than some of the younger guys who didn't get developed quite the same as they would have otherwise had you not had 15 fifth-year seniors or something like that. That's not to be disrespectful, but those are the facts. Do you have, you know, do you feel like, what's your response?
I don't have a reaction to that.
Just wanted to give you the opportunity.
I want other people to be able to say, we serve for freedoms, to speak as one so says.
Traditionally, in the past few years, these games have been very low scoring. Do you see, because of the tweaks Navy has made or anything else, do you see it being different Saturday, or do you think it will fall into that same?
I don't know if anybody has a crystal ball, you know, that way. I mean, the one thing that is very evident are the number of points they've scored in the games so far this season. I do think there's a clear difference. You're asking me to go back here. I can't tell you. Like in 2019, I think they'd scored a good number of points prior to that game. 2020, what'd they do? Play a couple of games? Was it Tulane and BYU or somebody before that? I can't say for sure. I mean, so how do you look at it? Certainly your perspective from a defensive side is we got to do everything we can to be assignment sound, on point, tackle well offensively, to be strong with the ball, to be skilled, but most of all to do a tremendous job in terms of blocking with power and running with power. That's what you have to do.
We saw a lot of different offensive formations from your team last week, including some where the quarterback would drop into the gun behind the fullback or superback or whatever. I guess what does that alignment bring, and what does it take away? Is the superback still a running option when he's lined up in front of the quarterback?
I mean, not when he's clearly in front of him. I mean, if you had to say, could you come up with something? Sure. Do we have one or two things? We do. Is that going to be? Is he often going to be a ball carrier if that's the case? Yeah, that not unless we're going the other way with the ball, which that's not our plan, you know. So he would not be as much. Now, and I say not as much. Yeah, I mean it's not going to be in the ballpark as much.
Well, I was going to ask you about this Navy wing T. I mean, what do you think of the various elements you're seeing? I mean, Coach Klein's kind of evolved this offense over the years. He's, you know, his dad was a wing T coach back in Georgia in high school, and he's kind of been doing this and tweaking it and adding elements for 25, 30 years. But what do you think of all the elements you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it is. They've done a heck of a job, Bill. You know, kind of as I said earlier too, the number of different guys that are involved. You know, outside receivers that have made a good number of big plays. The slots, you know, both slots. Having one of them being a little more lined up as a receiver and the other one a little more as a pitchback. And I think the other part, too, is having two good fullbacks, too. You know, and you look at both those fullbacks, they've played a lot of football. And then the emergence of how well the quarterbacks played also. I mean, they're a good group, really good group. That'd be understatement to say they're a good group. I mean, they've been, they've been good.
So obviously one of the reasons that Air Force has defended Navy and Army well, and Army defends Air Force and Navy and so on, is the familiarity with the triple option. Does this add a new element? Is this maybe something that your defenders are not so familiar, or are the kind of the same principles the same in terms of eye discipline and maybe focusing on your keys, etc.?
Yeah, you're right about the eye discipline part of it. I think probably what you see a little bit more are the variation in especially run plays. There's some similarities in some of the downfield throws. I think the other part there are some additional perimeter throws, whether they're now screens, being able to run an RPO off a quarterback draw or throwing a bubble screen. Not that they haven't done that in the past. We've just seen a little more of it this year. And so it does. Yeah, you certainly have to have the eye discipline. There are just a few more things that you're going to see.
So Navy has not beaten Air Force in Colorado Springs since 2012. How much do you take pride in particularly winning these service academy games at home? I mean, that's a huge advantage in this game is always the home field advantage. But, I mean, that's 5 straight games at home you beating Navy. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it just has nothing to do with Saturday, October in 2024. And I haven't mentioned it because I don't think it helps. I just don't think it's relevant to this Saturday. Now, to answer the other part of your question, do you want to play well and do you want to be in the mix in games like this? Absolutely you do.
Well, got to start with, being a senior, playing a service academy game at home. What does that mean to you, and what do the stakes mean to you?
I think it means a ton. I mean, this is what we play for, 2 games a year that you got to win. So, especially being a senior, just seeing that rivalry each year, how those games go. I think being able to contribute to that as well in a big way, I think it's a big deal. And
what is the mindset as an underdog in one of these games? Because it's so unique to have Army and Navy having such strong seasons while you guys are working through the roster issues and experience and kind of growing into what you're going to be. What does that do as an underdog to the mindset?
I don't think it really changes it. I mean, these games are always hard, so they're always neck and neck games. We play exceptionally well whenever we play each other. So I think the biggest thing is just focusing on what we can do, what we can perform on, and getting it done.
How you doing, Aiden? The season's obviously not getting off to the start you would have liked. Is there maybe even more emphasis now on winning the CIC?
I think 100%, yeah. Not the best start we wanted, obviously, but CIC is still there. So I think going into this week is crucial just for how we need to perform, how we need to rally as a team, and get this going.
What is the mood like on campus here, and what have you heard from some of your fellow cadets about the game on Saturdays in regards to, getting it done against Navy?
Yeah, I mean, people are still hyped about it. I mean, you got teachers telling us, go seek Navy. You got all the cadets, lots of spirit missions going on. So people are still fired up and they're ready to get this game going. So,
do you feel like Saturday was the best the offense has played this season?
I think it definitely, 100%. Definitely showed what we can do. I mean, we're putting up the numbers, getting first downs, but it's just those little things that we need to improve on to get us to that next level.
Do you feel like that gives you confidence this week? Like, hey, you know what? We can move the football. We can score some points.
100%. Those young guys, they just needed that boost. We've been telling them this whole time they're all ballers. Everyone that we got, so they're able to. They have the ability to get it done. So It's just got to go out and perform.
As an offense, how do you get to that point where, and I'm not saying that this is going on, where you're just playing versus like maybe overanalyzing everything because things aren't going the way they should be, from an execution standpoint, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes you get into that mindset, I guess, over analyzing things, but that's the biggest thing is just going out and play. I mean, we practice day in, day out, the same plays. So we know what to do. Everyone knows their job, what to do. You just come out there. I think the biggest thing is just being relaxed and having confidence in yourself to know that you can get it done.
And can you describe what it's like playing in one of these Service Academy games?
It's a crazy environment. You got people, both sides are just riled up. So it's always super fun to do that. And just playing against another fellow Service Academy, even though we say we don't like them and all that, what they go through, the same as you at your school. So something special. Yeah.
What have you seen from the Navy defense?
So far, they're a great team. So they're able to get those stops. I think the biggest thing, though, is just focusing on our offense. Like, our offense is built to, if we do our job, then we're able to get it done, get those plays going. So,
how cool are those special operations uniforms?
I think they're pretty sweet, yeah. The last year's one, the chrome helmets, I thought they did it well with that, and this year they went all out. So,
Were you part of that video?
Oh, no, I wasn't part of that video, but just even seeing the helmets now, practicing with it, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
What do you think the 10 a.m. start's going to be like? And, starting pregame early morning, like, what's that going to be?
I don't think it's going to be any different. It's kind of the same as last year. We had early games like that against Navy and the year prior. So, biggest thing, I know for myself, I get up, I'm ready to go. So, just get in the right amount of sleep throughout the week and get into it.
Is it almost, you say you get up ready to go, like when you have an afternoon game or something, are you kind of fighting jitters all day or excitement? Whereas in this case, you don't have to do that? Like, is it kind of a nice change?
Kind of, I guess. Yeah, you kind of get to get on the field because you just want to get out there and play. So that's what I enjoy about these early games. Yeah.
And last Saturday, the positives on offense, how much do you think was just getting everybody back or getting a lot of guys back, Dylan Carson, Cade Frew, just kind of having the crew you thought you were going to have all along? How much did that help?
I think it definitely helped a lot, just bringing confidence back to the team. But even then, just like that experience, even the younger guys who have been playing, who haven't really been out, and seeing what they can do, that was the biggest confidence booster.
First of all, I want to start with your impressions of this Navy offense, putting up huge numbers. Like, have you had much of a chance to study it on film, and kind of what are your impressions?
Yeah, no, we came in right away. I started studying their offense Sunday morning, but, this offense is super electric. They have a lot of guys that have been playing since their sophomore year, and, they've been playing really well, and so, you just can't go out there and take them lightly at all.
And traditionally, these have been low-scoring games because you guys kind of know each other so well. Have they changed enough to where they're not that familiar, and it's not like a triple option that you see, on the practice field every day?
Just with like the nature of the game, a lot of like these triple options are getting, they're adjusting with the game, with a lot more gun option, a lot more, play actions out of these option packages. So they, just like us, just adjusting with the game, and so, yeah.
How you doing, Osaro? Good. What's the chatter on campus like for this game this week? What are you hearing from fellow cadets and maybe even your professors and that sort of thing?
Traditionally, like, this is a really, really big game. And honestly, not too much. I kind of just try to block out all the noise, really. I just try to, focus in on what I need to do and what our room needs to do well in this game. But other than that, I'm not really too big into, listening to outside sources or other stuff like that.
With the season not going the way you would have liked to start, is there more emphasis on winning the CIC?
When we in fall camp, we broke down our goals for the season, and I our number one goal was to win the CIC from the beginning, and like there's still a lot of season left. There's a lot of goals that we can still accomplish, and so as long as we just come together as a team and do what we have to do, just keep practicing hard, staying together, we'll be just fine.
Defensively on Saturday, second half, where did you see kind of the mistakes were?
Honestly, we really just gotta just finish games. I can't really put blame on anyone else. We just gotta focus on our room and make sure that the linebackers are doing what we have to do to make sure that we're finishing off these games. Other than that, as a whole, I'm proud of our team because we just fought really well against Wyoming. Other than that, just finish these games.
The new uniforms, the special operations uniforms, what do you think of them, and were you part of any of those videos?
Yeah, so no, I wasn't part of any of those videos, but those uniforms are super awesome, especially just like the meaning behind it with whole special forces and everything like that. But yeah, no, I'm a really big fan of these uniforms.
You mentioned you have a lot of your goals still ahead of you. How do you make sure that the morale doesn't dip a little bit because you guys aren't getting the results that you would have liked?
Just being an older guy in the room and, just seeing how a lot of the guys last year, how they were able to handle the adversity, when we started to like slip up on games, of just really just keeping guys, heads up and just like, okay, like we're just fine. We just got to keep going. We can't look back and just, yeah, just keeping everyone's morale high.
I don't know what you're like on game day on the field, but are you someone, especially maybe even a service academy game, who maybe might chirp a little bit more because the game means a lot to a lot of people?
Honestly, on game days, I'm super energetic and stuff like that. But other than that, really, I just kind of, I'm thinking more about just like my assignments, my keys, and what I really need to focus on, and just like being that leader in the linebacker room to really like help out the young guys and just let them know that, no matter what happens during this game, we're going to face adversity. We just got to be ready to keep going and keep fighting.
When you look at the Navy quarterback so far, like what does he bring that has made him so effective?
Yeah, no, he's a great athlete. I mean, when you talk about their great offense, you have a quarterback that can run the ball and throw really well. Like that's that's double trouble for you. But yeah, no, he's been outstanding for them this season, and so I'm looking forward to playing against him this Saturday.
As a defender, what is that like when you do have a quarterback who, maybe you've got a certain assignment, but you always have to keep in the back of your mind that the quarterback can create plays? I mean, Wyoming's quarterback did it. And like, what is, as a defender, kind of what does that do to your head?
I mean, it doesn't really do too much to my head. Really, it's just, just going out there and reading my keys well. And as long as I read my keys well and, I believe in Coach Nora to put us in the right play calls and all that stuff. And then we'll just go from there and, yeah.
And what do you think the key, you guys have obviously shown it now, you showed it for a long time at Wyoming, a little while at Baylor, that you can come together as an Air Force team like we've seen at their best in the past. Like, what do you think it's going to take it beyond, stretches and do a full game?
The biggest thing, is just really the whole mental piece of it. It's a 60-minute game. We start off really strong, and we just, like I said, we just got to finish out these games. Like we just got to keep going and going and going. Like we can't take our foot off the gas after we get off halftime or anything like that. We just got to keep being super relentless to the ball and just do what we are known to do on defense.
And is it a fun thought to be able to play spoiler, with Navy being undefeated and getting a lot of national talk now, and to be able to kind of knock them down a little bit?
Honestly, yeah, it's nice to play in a big game like this, but other than that, I think just the main focus really is just to get us going. I think, from here on, just really to gain our momentum back. We're not really worried about anyone else besides Air Force football, and just getting back on track to where we know to get back on track to where we know we're supposed to be.